Welcome back to another Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord developer blog. Now I've got some exciting news coming near the end of January, so make sure you stick around for that. We've got some cool games and some cool gameplay stuff of something quite interesting, but make sure you stay around the channel for the end, around the 24th of January, and we might have some interesting things for you. But nevertheless, let's get straight into the video. Now this is quite an exciting developer blog because it's talking about the siege engines in Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord, and mostly focusing on what if you're going to take the castle by storm, because of course there's other ways. You can use diplomacy to persuade them to give you the castle and surrender, or you can even starve them out. But if you're trying to take the castle by force and by storm, which I would recommend if you have the army and resources for it, this is how you're going to be able to use siege engines in order to help you with that. Now, siege engines will be, of course, integrated in a specific way in Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord, a little bit different to what we actually saw before in some of the gameplay from Gamescom and E3 a while ago, because we have actually seen some gameplay before of sieges, but it's going to be set up a little bit differently. But we'll get onto that a little bit later. But it's not just the player that's going to be able to use these siege engines. AI armies are going to be able to build them just as you will be able to. Now, this is something that we keep seeing in Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord, how the AI can do everything that the player can in terms of diplomacy, economy, building your armies, and now even fighting on the battlefield. There's nothing that you can do that the AI can't do. It just depends how you do it and how you go about it to whether you're able to be successful over your opponent. Now, previously we saw when you besiege a castle, you can select from a menu which engines and siege engines you're able to build, whether it's a catapult, a battering ram, ladders, as such. But there's something else that they've introduced now. Instead of that, they've introduced a tactics feature, they're calling it. So you'll select when you go into a siege one of a number of tactics available. I would guess how you're able to actually get the castle. Maybe this will be using ladders, or maybe this will be a fire assault for using catapults to batter down the walls first. Now, once you select one of these tactics, you'll then get a preloaded waiting list for siege engines that are useful to the selected tactic. So if you choose a tactic, well, this is just a complete example, they haven't given any of these examples, but from the top of my head, maybe something like going through the front gate in a full frontal assault, then it will preload things like battering rams and catapults. Or if you go for a wall scaling assault, it will preload things like ladders maybe. This is all done on the campaign map as well, because once these things are built, any of these siege machines are finished, you're able to start the bombardment. And this doesn't mean it's going to be when you're in the battle as well. You can start the bombardment on the campaign map. Now, of course, you can wait, you can starve out the castle, but this will mean the enemies have chance for reinforcements to come. So while you're bombarding the castle from the outside, you can either go straight in and do the full frontal attack like Warband and go in to do the battles, or you can wait a little bit, try and starve them out, but also while you're bombarding them, you can weaken their defenses, so by the time you go into that battle, their walls, their gates and everything will already be damaged. Maybe you'll even be able to kill some of their guys and they'll have less population. That's just speculation, but this means you can decide between going in for a straight frontal attack like Warband or waiting a little bit. But of course, like I said, this has the risk of there being reinforcements turning up, because the longer you wait, the more chance it is that supports will come. Now, this tactic has a new dynamic to the game, but it also can be changed at any point during the waiting time based on the defender's tactic or any other events occurring in the world at the moment. Going a little bit off the siege things, we're talking about going into the castles and walking around a bit. We know that you can interact with NPCs, you can do everything that you want to do while you're walking around, but also from the world map as well if you want to be a little bit quicker, a bit more arcadey. But some things that give you a reason to actually walk around are the NPCs. Finding them, talking to them. Of course, the NPCs that have quests and things are highlighted, as we saw in a developer blog a while ago, but there's also events that will randomly pop up throughout the game, and these will affect the properties of a settlement, things like morale, prosperity, resources, economy, and things like that. Now, the player will have to find a solution for these problems between a specific time frame, so they'll give you an issue that you have to solve. Maybe you're running out of food, maybe you're running out of men, you need to get some more. Now, you'll be able to go and do that, and if you don't do it in the time limit, then of course you won't be able to raise morale or raise the resources and things like that, but it is also an option in order to prepare yourself from sieges, etc. Now, these issues and solutions can also lead to different quests and cause like a train of NPCs, solutions and quests that you can do. But that's pretty much talking about the sieges and Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. Thank you for watching this developer blog. I know it's a pretty short one. Make sure you stay around the channel for more of these. I'm pretty sure we're going to be getting some exciting news at some point quite soon, but make sure you stick around for the end of January, like I said, for some other thing. It's completely unrelated to Bannerlord, don't get your hopes up for that, but thank you so much for watching, and until then, I will see you in the next one.